Peace. This is Misty Moon, wellness coach, yoga instructor, and sound healer. And I am delighted to be back to reunite and share weekly videos with you all. And I just wanted to start off by sharing a little bit about myself and why I was away for so long. I think it's been about a year and a half, maybe 2 years that I have taken my hiatus. And yeah, I just want to be transparent and real because that's what this is all about. So I have a past, I've had a past of dealing with depression since childhood. And although I've always been very optimistic, even in high school, I was a peer advisor, captain of color guard, and the speech team, and very involved. Even was in show choir, and I've always been drawn to being of service, of helping people. I was always sensitive and intuitive, um, uh, even at a very young age. Like I'll share a story. When I was 4 years old, I used to play this game where I would sit in the lotus position and close my eyes and ask myself over and over again, who am I? What am I? If I wasn't Misty, then who would I be? And I would ask that question over and over again. And I think what would happen was that my spirit would leave my body because I was detaching from my physical body. And then I would get butterflies in my stomach and snap out of it and then come back to. And that was the game that I would play at 4. So at a very young age, always just like hyper sensitive. But I also had a very dysfunctional upbringing in a lot of ways. And I love my parents. I have a very healthy relationship with my parents now, and they're doing much better. But then at that time, they were young and they were trying to figure it out. And so there was just a lot of instability in my childhood. I went to 6 different elementary schools and, just all over the place. And this is also my old story, by the way, that I'm sharing with you, a story that I no longer claim. But I just want to give you all a little background about who I am and how I came to be. And so to make a long story short, I had a lot of trauma growing up that I never addressed. But meanwhile, I'm drawn to helping people. I go to school, I study psychology, I study religious studies, go to Body Mind College, become a holistic health practitioner and a massage therapist, was a massage therapist for about a decade. And all this time as I'm helping people, I hadn't really dealt with my own issues. And even when I was in school for Body Mind College, what I loved about it was the motto was healer, heal thyself. And I was just cracking the surface, like just getting to the peak of the iceberg with Body Mind College. So fast forward another decade or so, and I become a health coach and I'm teaching yoga and, doing really well. But again, since I hadn't dealt with the underlying issues properly, because I hadn't gotten the proper support, 2 years ago, I had a breakdown. I had a serious breakdown and went into a really, really, really deep, dark depression. And honestly, I felt at that time that there was no help. There was no hope for me because how can I be a health coach and a yoga instructor, and I've studied metaphysics, I've studied all these things, but yet I'm not getting the help that I needed. And last year was a blessing in disguise because as a result of my breakdown, I finally got the support that I needed. As a result, I found an incredible cognitive behavioral therapist who's 80 years old. He's been doing this work for 30 years. And I was introduced to a community called Adult Child of Anonymous, or Adult Child of Alcoholics. So it's like AA, but it's for adults who grew up in dysfunctional homes, whether it's alcoholism, drug abuse, or any type of abandonment. And as a result, I have this vocabulary now. Now I'm able to understand why I had the certain characteristics that I did that was self-sabotaging my life, the quality of my life. And I go to these meetings every week. I'm communicating with or connecting with other adults who also had similar upbringings. And that has been tremendous for me. And I'm also working with my therapist, a technique called internal family systems, which is really interesting. So with internal family systems, we all have parts within us. I wouldn't say multiple personalities. The difference between a person who has multiple personality disorder and just a person who doesn't is that a person who has multiple personality disorder, their trauma was so intense that they had to compartmentalize their personalities. Where a person who does not have it, I don't want to say normal or abnormal, but a person who does not have multiple personalities, we all have different parts, but they all kind of blend in with each other, and they're all there to help protect the inner child. So for an example, the part of me that felt suicidal, that was a part of me that wanted to protect my inner child because the pain was so great that was that part of me that wanted to check out, or the part of me that would emotionally eat. That's a different part that again is trying to protect the inner child. So as I'm learning about my various parts, as I'm finally tapping in and giving my inner child a voice, there's healing, deep, deep healing that I didn't think was ever possible. And it's been about a year now that I've been doing this work, and it's just been a tremendous process for me. And if I can be honest, there was some shame around, well, I'm dealing with depression, how am I going to be a qualified, health coach if I'm dealing with these dark issues? But now I'm realizing as I'm working through the shame and, working through the healing from my childhood, now I'm able to come full circle and realize this is what's making me a more empowered healer. So based on my experience, it wasn't just something I read in a book, but I have these experiences where I've been there, I've gone to the dark. And not only have I gone to the dark and faced my shadow, I've been able to rise out of it with this wisdom and this confidence that I've never have experienced before, that I didn't think was possible. So I wanted to give myself some time. I wanted to wait until I was really ready to come back to be of service and to offer information to help heal and to help shift. And so now I'm here. I'm ready now, and I'm just going to keep going with sharing content with Instagram, with these videos. Eventually, I'll be releasing short little yoga videos as well. And I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled to be back. I missed having these connections. I missed being a part of this platform. And again, I just want to share with you my story because all of us have dealt with depression on some level or another. I don't care if you're a yoga instructor, if you are a philosopher, even psychologists have therapists that they work with, because when it comes down to it, we all have had some type of trauma, some minor than others, in our childhood. And if those are not addressed, then our inner child begins to act out as if it's a child. You get stuck in that pattern. And that's another thing too that I'm learning. As far as about another thing that I'm learning is literally reprogramming your neural pathways to think differently, because we get caught in a certain way of thinking. And it's even said, Dr. Joe Dispenza would say this, that we become addicted to those negative patterns. We become addicted to alcoholism. And I'm sorry, not just alcoholism, but we become addicted to depression. We become addicted to codependency. And if you can just work on retraining those neural pathways, and you can literally create a new person. We're constantly changing all the time. Like I mentioned the story earlier, I'm no longer holding on to that story. For the longest time, I was holding on to that story. I had a dysfunctional childhood. My mom and I lived in a women's shelter for 6 months or for 3 months when I was 7 years old, and all these different things. I would hold on to it, but I'm letting that go now. Now I'm using it as my asset. And again, because of those experiences, I really truly believe that my soul chose to have these experiences, these hardships, in order for my spirit to evolve. I'm subscribing to that truth. And when it comes to healing, all we're doing is just remembering. That's all we're doing. And my beloved coach, Ani East, that I've been working with, she has reminded me that it's all about energy. It's all about frequency. So my coach, Ani East, for an example, who's an incredible, just amazing, enlightened being, she had worked with other people to help raise her vibration. And now I'm working with her so she can help raise my vibration. And then I will help others to help raise their vibration. So we're all in this together. That's not a hierarchy. It's just when you do the work to get activated, then you can also help others activate themselves. So that's what I'm here for. And I've been asked the question, what lights you up? What lights me up is healing. What lights me up is healing because I know it so well and I'm so passionate about it, and which is another reason why I want to be of service. So in conclusion, I just want to thank you for watching this video. And again, I look forward to releasing content on a weekly basis moving forward. So until next week, sending you lots of love and light. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.